Welcome back, folks, to the Word Traction Network and the daily podcast. Hope you're doing well. This is how Tennessee fumbled the Super Bowl. Wishful thinking? We've got time to get to it. This is a callback to an episode I did about a month or so, or better ago, when the state of Tennessee did some of the most on its face, the most violently racist anti-voting rights legislation in the country. Redistricting post Calais, immediately post 15 minutes past Calais, and um, and in a world, in a country where there are daily reminders of how white supremacists are or supremacists are working to disadvantage black and brown people every single day. Tennessee distinguished itself above all others in the South. Memphis. We won't go over all of the gory details there because they've been very well reported, and it's not a struggle that's over. There's no surrender, but for this is a message from the top. This is a message from the Supreme Court giving a an invitation for the states themselves to do some things that are completely against the principles of our founding documents. It's reprehensible. But I could come up with a lot of really bad words because I got a bunch of them. That doesn't get us any closer to making an impact and kind of turning the tide. And of course, if you want to get the attention of the billionaire class white supremacist, white Christian nationalists, you go after their money because their money is their power. And if they don't have the money and they don't have the power, then they are just a bunch of underpaid Klansmen running around getting themselves in trouble and drinking a lot of bourbon and branch water for breakfast. So the the best, the easiest target, or the most visible target for our disgust over this issue is the Super Bowl 2030. And that was awarded unanimously by the NFL owners to Nashville. Now, Nashville, a perfectly good city, nice. Who doesn't like music? I don't like country music all that much, but it's a delightful city and many wonderful people, and the music industry itself has a great deal of fun and interesting people involved in that, and that's in and around Nashville. I'm not a hater of any particular Nashville or Tennessee professional sports franchise. We have the Predators there that are getting that are a wonderful NHL team, and the stadium. This will be sort of the premiere to the world of this beautiful new stadium that they're building in Nashville for the Titans. But I'd like to spoil their party in a nonviolent kind of way. Now, how do we go about boycotting? We have 4 years, a little bit less, to go. How do we push back at at the organizing committees? How do we attack, in a nonviolent sense, again, the advertisers that support the Super Bowl and earn money from it? So we don't have a full list of all of the title sponsors of the event and all that has not been announced, or at least not where I could find it easily today. But it's 2026, and we've got a lot of shit to do. We've got a midterm election that matters. We've got a general in 28. All these things are going to happen before the Super Bowl. But I would argue, if you just look at the NFL by itself, 54% of the players in the NFL are self-identify as African American or Black, a strong majority. I don't have any numbers about Latinos or other people of color, but that's enough to work with for today's purposes. The NFL Players Association, I don't imagine, and this vote by the grand wizards of the NFL, the Owners Association, came pretty close to the date of that the redistricting. So I mean, convenient for them that they don't have to defend it as if the Klan doesn't often defend its behavior. They feel that it's justified something from, God or some other, whoever's running the place these days. But what I would suggest, and I will post it today, and I'm going to stay on it and try to find community and others that are similarly motivated to reach out to the NFL Players Association. And they're aware, I'm sure, of this, but they're doing other shit in their lives too, and this is the off season. But do we want to reward the state of Tennessee or the city of Nashville or both for this sort of reprehensible behavior by their government? I would say no. We want to punish them in any nonviolent way that we can possibly do that. And like I said, the best way to do that is to whack their sponsors, those advertisers that choose to, what in traditional media, what does traditional media mean anymore? The broadcast networks are having their own troubles, but the Super Bowl is a great advertising opportunity. I want to do whatever I can do and share in the spirit of collective action to inspire other people to just look at it, take a sober review for yourself of the facts, and take whatever action you feel is appropriate. But I would I watch football. I'm Northern Massachusetts, a lifelong Patriots fan, and I don't support the team any more than that's. I support the players. Right? The ownership of the team, Robert Kraft, has a lot of warts. Not all of them is connected directly with Jeffrey Epstein or Donald Trump, but that's a hell of a nice jumping off point for him. It's a nice place to start. So I don't have any love for the ownership. They haven't covered themselves in glory. They've assembled great teams. They did Belichick. They did Brady, and those gentlemen showed out on their own and got a bunch of rings. Doesn't excuse the behavior of the ownership in massage parlors in Palm Beach County, Florida, going back a decade, or Epstein going back even further than that. That is not that's not team building in any real sense. But back to Tennessee and Nashville. Super Bowl, getting economic impact statements on Super Bowls. It's really hard to say that the range of potential economic impact on a city or region at having the Super Bowl. It's a lot of money. But if you're you're trying to parse out what percentage of attendees in Las Vegas were there just for the Super Bowl versus to gamble their life savings or whatever other reason you go to Las Vegas for. Miami, I've been in Miami for, it's always better to be in the city, not go to the game because the viewing experience is much better, even still today, on a screen amongst friends in a bar than it is live in a game. But going to the city at the time that the game's going on, it's always a great party. And I lived in Miami for at least 3 Super Bowls, if not more, because it's a great place to have a party. And I got my money's worth on in every single one. Even I was talking to a Uber driver the other day about football and football's the football itself. For some reason, I have no idea how I got there, and I was recalling a story that being in the hospitality industry, I was running a particular restaurant in Miami. And the distributors would always give gifts, like when the Super Bowl was in town, you'd get a authentic Rawlings or Wilson, whoever the ball maker that year was. You'd get a Super Bowl embossed. Yeah. And I remember being on Ocean Drive and walking up to a table of gentlemen that were in town, presumably for the Super Bowl. And it was Ronnie Lott, guy named O.J. Simpson, who you might have heard about, and another gentleman named Anthony Miller, who was a very good wide receiver for Denver. And this is going back a little bit, but they were post playing career, but in town for the game. And I got O.J. Signature. Now, this was a little bit before. Ironically, at that same property, a number of years later, I was in the restaurant when OJ and Al Collins were Cowens were zipping across Los Angeles in a white Bronco. So that was fun too, and that just proves that I'm older than you are. So football, I'm football positive. NFL, ambivalent. They're just they're a delivery vehicle for entertainment. Roger Goodell, his time's over. I noted the announcement that the former coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, was just announced as, I think he's either Thursday night or Sunday Night Football. He's going to be joining the booth, not the slot that Tony Romo stepped away from for a little bit to get some much needed help. But I always respected Coach Tomlin a great deal because he was he was a player. He was a player's coach, and he was quiet and led with humility and grace and dignity. And I always, for decades, it seems, I always had him. If there were Kalshi or Polymarket back then, I would have probably put a bet on whether he would be the commissioner of the NFL at some point. Now, how Klansmen appoint a black man as the leader of the league, that might be a bit of a stretch. The other man I thought would be a great, natural would be Barack Obama, to either NFL or that other one that seems think that basketball, something that he's pretty familiar with. What a great public face, but he's busy. It's like he's being magical and delightful and bringing grace, dignity, and glory to our country at a time when it's in very short supply. So I'll leave him alone. But I would still like to see Mr. Tomlin take that role at some point because that's a league. Again, if 55% of the players in the league, and it's only going in one direction, are black, the leader of the league should be as well for representation purposes. And we have all of the damage that our country has gone through in the Trump era with the racist attacks on DEI and the silly arguments that it disadvantages white people because poor white people, they've had it really hard. Those whiteys. It's time to give Whitey a leg up. What can we possibly do to to enfranchise Whitey a little bit more in this country? I mean, we haven't done enough. So hopefully we can turn the corner and get back to a more reasonably balanced approach to a more perfect union. Or a long fucking way away. But this is one thing. You can look at the city of Nashville. You can look at the state of Tennessee, and just we all do our part. I'll post some collective action notes as I like to do underneath this or independently. Where here's one that you're like, okay, dude, I don't give a fuck about football. I don't give a fuck about professional sports. I'm just a cisgendered woman working hard and raising a family. Don't give me this football bullshit. I'm a girl mom, and we're doing a real game like soccer. Okay, little things. If yeah, again, I'll just go back to the economic impact of the Super Bowl. You can just say 1 billion. It's a big number, and if you average between L.A. and Las Vegas, where there are all sorts of other things going on in the city at every time, and the city doesn't stop to host a game. It's just part of the life of the party. Of course, in January in Nashville, or February, I guess it is now, it will have a more profound economic impact because the weather's fucking miserable there in any case. Just leave the Super Bowl in Miami at all times. Keep it simple. Or if you got to do LA, you do LA too. But it's a party. You might as well not get snowed on. Can we impact individual advertisers once they're announced and say, just post on your own, find community in social media in some way. And I'll be doing my, hashtag collective action posts to say this, Amazon was just announced as one of the title sponsors of Super Bowl 2030. And I'll be all over that like white on rice. And I'll be early and often. But if the Super Bowl thing isn't going to catch your attention, it isn't something that you can find a sense of, buy-in because you hate sports or you don't, it's just not your bag. That's fine. Bachelorette parties. Nashville is one of those cities that is very popular on the bachelorette party tour. It's as a host city because, it's not, the winter time. It's not New York. It's not Boston. It's like where I am. It's not the guy sitting out on his porch in January when it's 10 degrees and snowing. It's more moderate, but it's, again, a lot of nice restaurants, great bars, and music. What could be better for a bunch of gals to get together with their friends and have a good time? But there are other options. There is Charleston, South Carolina is popular with bachelorette parties. Um, what were the other ones that I was? Las Vegas, OBV, as the kids don't say anymore. And Scottsdale, I guess that that general area is, that's a great. Not as fun, not as much fun in the summertime because it's fucking hot. He said when it's going to be 95 in Boston today, but it's oppressively hot down there. Not that you have to be outside; you could be in bars, strip joint. I don't adult entertainment complexes and other places, and get just as much enjoyment, and just stay in the Uber and don't drink and drive. Can you look at that and you say, well, this is a decision I can make. I can't tell. I was thinking about when I would, for business purposes, go to more conferences. Like if I were an employee, I was an employee at one time for PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's a company with hundreds of thousands of employees worldwide. Right? We were going for a conference in in Dallas, right? Dallas Fort Worth area. And I'm going to call up. Oh yeah, we're gonna go next month. We're going to be in a conference, a team building exercise in Dallas, and there's going to be 70,000 PwC consultants and bean counters learning how to say nice things to one another and having a couple beverages. You call up the CEO of the company and say, you know, I I don't like what Greg Abbott is doing, so I want you to reschedule that entire Texas event because Greg Abbott is a mega fucking idiot, and he's mean about it. CEO's not going to listen to one guy, but if you build consensus, collective action, and companies here starting now or sooner about advertising blowback, the we'll call it the Disney ABC effect, the Kimmel effect. Right? Again, we give more grace to Disney now because the current leader is doing a much better job than his predecessors at pushing back at Trump and Brandon fucking Carr. I don't even I haven't gone that far because it's 4 years in the future, and I'm not even sure that CBS has. I mean, must be CBS because I've heard Jim Nance also has a connection to Nashville, whether he was born there or has other business there. Because when the city was awarded the 2030 Super Bowl, he was kind of the face of that announcement. And again, I don't have anything against Jim Nance or or Tony Romo, and they do a great job. But I'm going to find ways. I'm also going to object to the underlying, the original sin, which is the redistricting, the cracking and sacking of the voting districts and creating these unrealistically bizarre spider, the the voting district that was once Memphis is now a sliver of Memphis and goes all the way out to Nashville through Jethro country. You know what you're going to get, right? So they took the one reliably African American district in the whole state and blew that up. So now there's nothing, and that is it's unfair. It's contrary to our again to it's the Constitution. Don't ask Clarence. Don't ask John Roberts and Sammy Samuelito. But it is anti-democratic what they're doing. But they're not taking my calls. Collective action is the only way we get this thing done, and we've learned that with Trump and the upcoming elections and interference and tasking his paid assistant, Palantir, to help him mangle the voting messaging, trying to get more data on voters in particular areas. Will they be will they be bombing particular districts that are kind of that are toss-ups with false information? I mean, we know Vladimir Putin will be doing this. We know even Xi Jinping and the Iranians are going to be jumping on the train. But the only thing that we can do where we want to feel empowered, we don't want to feel that we're making an effort and not getting any results. That's, that's human nature. We want to feel that the time that we spend, the investment in time and effort pays off. Not in a not it's about me thing, but it's just human nature. People feel they have buy-in and feel that that actually has has an effect, then people are going to bring their friends along and continue to fight right up until the midterm, and then regrouping for 25 seconds, and then it's all about the general. Getting confused and frustrated over why moderate Democrats are attacking DSA candidates right now. It's because they're fucking idiots, and that's the technical analysis right there on the spot for free. Is that they're very short sighted, and the Chuck Schumers of the world, and Mr. Jeffries, even though he's you know uh, people in New York like having a Speaker of the House in New York, and I understand why you would support Mr. Jeffries, except that he's taking a shit ton of money from AIPAC still. He also is in charge of raising money for other candidates who are also inclined to take money from AIPAC. So he's, in my humble opinion, he's conflicted out, doesn't deserve the position anymore. Are we going to be fortunate enough to have AOC perhaps pass on running for president this round? We got a ways to go. I would love to say that I support a proud democratic socialist leader, particularly of the proper double X chromosomal variety, like AOC. I would be proud to do that. But selfishly, are her talents for the good of the Democratic Party and movement and progressive movement overall, is it better strategically to have her as the Speaker of the House? And then she has another bite at it in 32. She's a very young human being. Who do we have in the middle? We've got John Ossoff, who is fantastic. is a is a Georgia guy. Um, I'm not going to say a Jewish man from Georgia because I don't. All of the shade that's being thrown at AIPAC and at Bibi Netanyahu doesn't, in my humble estimation, have any negative effect on Ossoff himself, because he's an American leader who knows things about staying on message that many candidates will never learn in their entire lives. And he's very, he's just been practicing this for a short period of time, but he has a very unique talent. Some people equate his fluency with JFK, not RFK, JFK, the smarter and better looking uncle. That he has the magic, you know, Mr. El Sayed. He's got some magic, and again, he's not new to the party. He'll get better because he is a young person. He could, as Mr. Mayor Mamdani pointed out, he can probably bench press more than he and I can, more than Mamdani and I can. Mamdani will be a force in our country's politics for hopefully for half a century. He's still only hard 34 or 35, right? Which is just remarkable, and continue to support and be grateful for him being on the team. But you know, it's early to maybe focus on the 28 general when the 26 midterm is no done deal. It should be, but with all of the shenanigans that Trump has been engaged in, Trump and the Republican Party. You may hear in the background my friend and neighbor, the Raptor. He is that is a falcon or a hawk. I haven't had him in for a snack, so I don't know exactly. And I generally, seeing things that are that far up in the sky are hard. But my dog senses the raptor every time we're going taking a walk, and my young assassin, the puppy dog, is sure that the raptor is going to come and either eat his lunch or make him lunch. So it's a little bit like a menacing kind of uh, raptor noise. Fun enough. Yeah. So your mission today, if you should choose to accept it, think about Nashville. What are your experiences there? Do you love the city? Do you like the city? What is a way that you could make an impact? I don't mean saying that country music sucks. That doesn't really help anybody. But is it appropriate? We don't want to affect the ability of good faith actors that live there to earn a living. I want to target my disdain towards the billionaires that own football teams and who benefit directly from a Super Bowl being awarded to that city, and make sure that they know the reason that there is a boycott, however effective, against a brand, a network, or a team, or an organization. The reason that the boycott is in place is because of the behavior of the state Senate and House in Tennessee, making life and voting much more difficult for people of color, and doing it in a way that is absolutely it's violent in its effect. They didn't just take a little bite; they ate the whole thing, and I have to presume that they're delighting in it because we haven't heard anything to the contrary. And so it's just good old fashioned Klan, Jim Crow shit coming back on blast. We got 4 years, but let's not sleep on it. Let's figure out a way that you can, through collective action, take a shot at it. And I'll do my part in posting and featuring ideas about this is how you can impact Nashville or Tennessee more broadly. I don't mean hating on the volunteers. That's not necessary. At least the women's teams. They're fantastic. I mean hitting them where it hurts and sticking to it. Collective action, sharing the fact, like we did when for me it was you cancel the Prime membership, or whatever your particular stand is today, this week, next week, next month. The little thing you can do. Say, I made a decision to purchase a membership at, you know, uh, your buying decisions. Where are you going? Are you going to say, "Oh my God, did you see what Walmart and Target did to their own employees and to their customers?" Right? That is that is the real thing, and they need to. You have access to social media. You need to in my humble estimation, is you need to make it hurt and then you need to share. So, enough for today. Thank you. It's Sunday after all. I'll be back with you sometime tomorrow. And we'll say a good day to Mr. or Mrs. Raptor, who are circling overhead looking for or an innocent little bunny. And we will go on. Kindly reshare, restack, retweet, subscribe, and otherwise. And I'm going to lean uncomfortably close and try to shut this off. And wishing you all a beautiful Sunday. Thank you.